Welcome to a world where you can learn about real life in a setting that is alive and growing just like you are. From everyday people who may never have teaching certificates, but all have something valuable to offer. In a place where everyone is a student and everyone is a teacher. This is the One Room Schoolhouse.
Good morning, my friends at home. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Today is a very special day. Today is the first day of fall. We're in a new season, and that means the weather's changing. That means the leaves are changing colors. They're falling off the trees. And also, we get to change around things in our garden. Does anyone else at home have gardens? Are you planting anything? So we have a garden that we've turned over and we're getting ready for cooler weather stuff. And we are really excited. Today, our guest teacher is someone that knows a lot about fall and a lot about gardening. I met my friend, the guest teacher today, because I was doing some research to learn. So I am always wanting to learn all the things, just like you guys. So I'm never too old to learn, right? And you're never too young to teach. So when I was trying to do some research, trying to figure out what do we want to plant in the fall season, I came across this company, and it's called Fruition Seeds, and they have these wonderful little packages that are for children's garden, and they're colorful, and the kids will have fun doing it. So I said, this is cool. Well, then I did more research, right? Because that's what you want to do when you're learning. You always are wanting to learn and investigate. I found my friend Petra. She owns this company, and she lives, anyone know where she lives? Anyone heard of her? She lives in New York. She doesn't even live here, but I found her, I met her, and I asked her to be our guest teacher today. Are you guys excited about that? I am super excited to welcome my friend and guest teacher, Petra from Fruition Seeds. She is on our magical screen because she lives all the way in New York and couldn't be here today. So let's get excited to welcome Petra as the guest teacher today. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Rebecca.
Good morning, my friends at home. We're so excited you guys are back. Let's see, how else do we know how to say good morning to our friends? I'm going to let you guys take it over. Say good morning to our friends at home. What do we say?
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias. How else do we say it? What language was that? Sign language. And we learned another one yesterday. Anyone remember?
Bonjour.
Buongiorno. Very good. Good morning. Today is a very special day. Everyone listening? Who knows what today is? It's the first day of a new season. Thank you for raising your hand, Mackenzie.
The first day of fall.
It's the first day of fall. What does that mean? I have a sweater on. What does that mean? Autumn.
It's also autumn too.
Okay, so there's two ways to say it. Some of us call it fall, and then what do others call it? Autumn. Wait a minute. That's your name. What? Do you think you were named after the season? We'll have to ask your mom.
My mom did.
Your mommy did it. So does that mean that this season is her favorite season? You think she loves it? Yeah. Okay, so what starts happening today? What starts happening, Aubrey?
It gets cold.
Gets a little colder outside. But does it snow yet? No, just a little bit colder. What else happens? If you're not outside, if you look out the window, how do you know it's fall? Hazel.
Falling leaves.
The falling leaves, very good. Are the falling leaves green, Magnolia?
No, they're red. Some of them are like red or orange or yellow.
Some of them are red, orange, yellow. What are some things that happen? Hold on, listen. What are some things that happen during the fall season? We have a couple holidays, perhaps, where one of them family gets together. Mackenzie, what is something that happens in the fall season? Thanksgiving. In Spanish, we call that Dia de Gracia because that's the day that we are giving thanks for all the wonderful things we have. What else, Josh? Halloween happens. Some of us do Halloween where we dress up. Is that your favorite? I love it. Yes, Louie. Christmas. Now, Christmas, do we think it happens during the fall or during the next season? What's the next season, which is what? Winter. So fall starts today and goes all the way, I think it's through the December the 21st. So it's right before Christmas. So we could have thought that Christmas was in the fall. Yes, Indiana.
My favorite thing is your house.
Oh, okay. Well, some people, who decorates their house for fall? Whose parents decorate their house?
Me.
Yeah? What kind of things do you guys decorate with? What kind of things do you guys decorate with?
Pumpkin lantern.
Pumpkins, and what else?
Silly.
Oh, pumpkins. What about hay bales? Henry?
I'm really excited because next week is my birthday.
Next week we got some birthdays coming up. I love it. Hold on. Very good. Okay, my friends, for everyone, I want to hear what everyone has to say, but you have to raise your hand or we can't hear each other and everyone has some very important things to say. Okay, today is the first day of fall. There's a lot of things that we're going to learn about fall because there's specific things that happen for the reason for the change of seasons. Okay, so throughout fall, we're going to learn all about these things in class and with our friends at home. One of the things that we've been doing is we've been working outside. Where have we been working outside? We've been planting some things in our what? Raise your hand if you know. What, Autumn? In our garden beds. Does anyone remember what kind of things we've been planting in our garden beds? Indiana?
Shovels and dirt.
We've been using shovels, very good. The shovels to dig the holes. We've been putting some dirt, very good. What else, Mackenzie?
We planted broccoli and Brussels sprouts.
Broccoli and Brussels sprouts. What are some other things we've been putting in the dirt to help our plants grow? Ezekiel? Compost. Very good. Okay, so we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance and then our prayer, and then I'm going to bring on our special teacher today. Our special teacher is not going to be in the room physically with me, but on our magic screen, and we're going to talk about why in just a minute. So first, everyone stand and let's do our Pledge of Allegiance. Face the flag. Friends at home, join us, please. Where does my right hand go? Over your heart. Everyone standing, be respectful. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. Very good. Everyone have a seat. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you want to say the morning prayer. Let's see. Who hasn't said it in a while? Hazel, come on up, sister. You
You know why we weren't here yesterday?
Why?
We were sick.
I'm so sorry. Are you feeling better?
First Henry was sick and then I got sick.
Are you feeling better? I'm glad you guys are back. Can you give us a really good prayer this morning? Okay, let's face our friends. Okay, eyes closed.
Dear God, thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for Piper, Ezekiel, Aubrey, and Autumn, and thank you. And thank you for all my friends, and thank you for this wonderful day. Just know and pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. You can go have a seat. Wonderful prayer. All righty, you guys. Are we ready to meet our special guest teacher? Okay, so let me tell you a few things. I met our guest teacher while I was doing some research and trying to learn all the things for our garden. Because am I too old to learn? No, I'm not too old to learn. So I was doing research, what kind of things we plant, because can we plant the same things that we plant in fall, in the summer? No, two totally different things. So I was doing some research, trying to figure out how do I learn about gardens and planting and crops and all that stuff for the fall season. Then I came across some really cool seeds and stuff. And these ones are specifically Children's Garden Collection. Okay, so I came across all these seeds and I thought, wow, those are so pretty. I wonder who did this. And then I found Miss Petra. Miss Petra owns this company, and she works really hard to give you guys all seeds that you can grow and learn from and then eat afterwards. Okay, so everyone help welcome our guest teacher, Miss Petra, who lives in New York. Hi, Petra.
Hello, so nice to see you all. Thank you all for welcoming me.
So nice to see you.
And I loved hearing your guesses.
I know.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Oh, wonderful.
We can hear you
Well,
really well.
I would like to tell you a very special secret very close to my heart. And it's not really that big of a secret, but not many people know that I live here in New York, but I was born in Kentucky. And I love Kentucky and I love Tennessee, and I just want to send such huge love to you all in your classroom, such huge love from our garden to your garden, and I am so grateful that we get to spend time together today. And this is your cordial invitation. If you ever find yourselves in upstate New York in the Finger Lakes, you're always welcome here on our farm, and I would love to welcome you into our home as well when we can actually be in each other's homes again. So don't be shy, and I'm so glad that you have such a wonderful community, and you're so fortunate to have Miss Rebecca right by your side as well.
Thank you, Petra. We love having you here for sure.
So I would love to begin today by sharing that when people ask if I have children, I say yes, and great, 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 great grandchildren. And you can eat them. I put them in packets. And I'm so glad that you're actually spending time with my family. When you plant those seeds in the ground, when you grow those seeds, when you weed and feed, when you water those seeds that are growing in your gardens, you're actually taking care of my family. My brothers, my sisters, my sons and my daughters, my great, great, great grandchildren. And they're your great, great grandchildren too. They're all of ours. They're not just my family, they're your family. And for the last 10,000 years, which is longer than I have any imagination to actually imagine, our ancestors have been doing this, of sharing seeds and growing them and treating them just like family. So don't think of seeds as just another thing in your life. Like you can go to a grocery store and just get bubble gum or something else that you can like unwrap and then eat. But seeds are a little different. I mean, what's coming in all the rest of your food that come from seeds too. But I hope when you see seeds now that you think of them as living, breathing beings. Just like you and I, let's take a deep breath together. Let's all breathe in and breathe out. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in and breathe out. And friends, seeds literally respire just like you and I. They breathe in and they breathe out. Isn't that amazing? They're living, breathing things. And just like you and I, they can adapt to the world around them, whether it's a little chilly or whether it's really hot or whether it's really dry or really cold. They just know how to survive, and they have for millions of years. So I love imagining, especially like cilantro. How many of you like cilantro?
Me.
Yes. So cilantro is, imagine it's a spice, right? From like the spice trades. Every cilantro you've ever eaten has ancestors that traveled across the Saharan deserts on the backs of a camel. Isn't that crazy? Let's just imagine that for a moment. First, imagine a camel with bright yellow gold hair, the color of the sand, with a great big hump on its back, carrying all kinds of things, maybe saffron, black pepper, and then these wonderful seeds that we often call spices, like cilantro, millions of them crossing the deserts on the backs of camels, and every single seed, every single cilantro seed has in its genetic capacity the imagination, the remembrance of that time. Isn't that wild?
That's so wild. That's so wild.
I want to show you this little thing too. Speaking of seeds, I just found my first one of these for the fall. Speaking of fall, happy fall. Does anyone recognize what this is?
What is
it's
that?
It's kind of like styrofoam. And it's very gold, pale color. It looks like it has all these little ripples inside.
My friend have some answers. Can they try to guess what it is?
Oh, yeah, please guess.
What is it, Mackenzie? Chrysalis.
Ooh, it is an insect. You're right. It's not a chrysalis. It's not a butterfly, and it's not a moth, but it is an insect.
Oh,
and it's its egg.
Cicada.
Another guess?
Yes, we have another guess. Ezekiel, thank you for raising your hand. Never mind. Okay, what about you, Isaiah?
A cicada.
A cicada. What's
Ooh, good guess. It's also an insect, but not a cicada. Cicadas bury their eggs in the ground, and this is an egg case that you would find above the ground, like on a goldenrod stalk, or even, honestly, on the side of your beautiful garden shed, or even on your lovely little raised beds. You might find these on the edge of the wood. Another guess?
We have one more guess yet. Henry.
Spider.
A spider?
Ooh, another close guess. This is an egg case. So just like a spider, if this was an egg case of a spider, there would be hundreds of seeds of eggs of spiders in this. But instead of hundreds of spider eggs, there's hundreds of praying mantis eggs. How many of you know what a praying mantis is? Raise your hand. Oh my gosh. How many of you have seen a praying mantis this summer already? Ooh, not too many, but some. Awesome. Well, keep your eyes out for these awesome little things. They have a very fun word, oooteka. Ootheca, oooteka. So that's a fun name for a praying mantis egg case, and I hope that you find them. So yes, there's so many reasons that I love seeds, not just of corn, not just of squash, but of all kinds of things, including praying mantis too.
How fun. And Miss Petra, before you continue, I want to tell our friends at home that if y'all have any questions for Miss Petra, please put them in your comments, because she said she is willing to answer questions that come in. So Petra, can you tell us where you are right now? You're not inside. Are you inside somewhere? Are you outside? Where are you right now?
Ooh, am I inside? Am I outside? I'm kind of neither.
Oh.
So I'm inside our high tunnel, which is a form of a greenhouse. But often greenhouses have a solid, imagine like concrete as the floor, where this has soil as the floor. So we're growing in it. So here, I'll take you off the tripod for a moment. And yeah, so here's a fun little thing. Ooh, did I lose you?
No, you're there.
There you are.
We see you, yeah.
So yeah, so you can see above me, there are all those arches. So that's the structure keeping up, and it has plastic on the top. And so this allows us to have a way earlier season, a way later season, and then we can determine when it rains. And we're sending drip irrigation down all our plants. So we're growing all of our many of our dry seeded crops in these tunnels. So you can see there's a bunch of beautiful cosmos. And I mean, so here, can we get up and close to one of the orange flowers? Oh my gosh, I'm not sure I'm nailing it.
So
but
pretty.
This is one of my favorite little flowers, and they're actually delicious. How many of you eat flowers? Flower petals. Yes, well, when you come to hang out on our farm, we're gonna eat lots of things. Hopefully things that you don't even know you can eat. And check it out over here too. Oh, and right behind me, the empty space, this is where we grew cabbage this year. And there was literally, they were 6 feet tall, taller than me, covered in thousands of yellow flowers, covered in butterflies. Just imagine them. And now there are literally tens, if not hundreds of thousands of little tiny black seeds that are going to grow cabbage, maybe even in your gardens. And here we have some zinnias. Oh my gosh, they are so beautiful. Can you see that long line of zinnias? And right here is another empty space that just looks empty. This had, again, 6 foot tall, beautiful heirloom onions flowering in their second years. They're biennial. And now we have some tiny little, this is my favorite variety of collard. It's called henpeck. So we have some tiny little collards growing, and they're going to overwinter here, and they're going to vernalize and grow to be 6 feet tall, covered in thousands of yellow flowers next year as well. So I am neither inside nor outside. I am just tucked in our little high tunnel with you today. And I'm so glad to show you a few ways that we grow seeds.
That's so awesome. Thank you for showing us around. We have a couple questions before you continue. Yes, Magnolia.
Oh, good.
What flowers can you eat and which ones can't you eat?
Oh, good question. I don't know if you heard that. She wants to know what flowers you can eat and what flowers you cannot eat.
Great question. So there are a bunch in both categories, but keep in mind that most flowers, even if they're not delicious, they're not poisonous generally. There are certainly exceptions, but I have a whole huge blog about them actually, because there are hundreds and hundreds of edible flowers. But here, I'll share a few with you that you probably already grow. Pardon me, and now you can know that they're edible. So sunflowers, who knew? Sunflower petals are totally delicious, and depends on the variety. Some are thicker, some are more tender, some have stronger sunflower flavor, some are more floral. So there's a lot of diversity in sunflower flavor, but all sunflowers are delicious. Also nasturtiums and calendula. Not all cosmos are edible, but they have all plants that have a fun binomial. They have a fun Latin name. And so these Cosmos bipinnatus are not the ones you want to eat, but if they're sulfurous, which there are many different varieties, they are just delicious. Marigolds also. Dahlias too. Dahlias, fun fact, raised as a food crop in Montane, Mexico. Who knew? So there are many, and of course outside you can eat your dandelion flowers, you can eat your daylilies, you can eat lots and lots and lots of flowers.
So
but it's a really good idea. Jewelweed maybe you have that's still blossoming abundantly, but always ask Ms. Rebecca.
Yeah,
that Ms. Rebecca knows a ton about edible flowers.
Well, I'm learning, and I'm learning from you, so I will definitely, we will look up your blog and read all about them. We have some very excited friends here. So Henry, I think, has a question for you. Henry?
I wanted to tell you that people can actually eat sunflower sprouts.
People can actually eat, he wanted to teach you that people can actually eat sunflower sprouts, he says.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for reminding me. Maybe I'll have some for lunch.
Yeah, Henry, our friends here are really into gardening and learning all about nature outdoors, so we learn a lot. My friend Louie, do you have a question?
Yeah. So you can actually eat marigolds?
So she's asking, you can eat marigolds. Did you mention marigolds in your list of edibles?
I did. Yeah, so if you eat the leaf of the marigold, it's not poisonous. It won't hurt you, but it's very bitter and not delicious. When you eat the petal, then you'll find that it also has a lot of bitter compounds, but it's also very sweet and floral all at once. Marigold has a very complex flavor, which I personally like. But you'll notice that there's lots of different varieties of marigolds. So some of them, again, have stronger compounds, and some of them have sweeter compounds. But they're all edible, totally.
Yeah, so,
I like to toss mine on cupcakes myself, as well as salads.
So probably a good idea is for us to tell our friends here that if you want to try a flower at home, make sure you ask your mom and dad first before you go picking all the flowers to try them. Okay, we have some more questions, but we're going to let Miss Petra continue talking about a few things, and then we'll come back to questions, okay? Alrighty, Miss Petra.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to actually read you a little story. It's a book called From Seed to Sunflower, and this is how it goes. And I always like to read the author too, and I forget the author, so let me remember. Yes, it's by Carolyn Scarce. So yes, here it is. Can you see all right?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, good. In the autumn, happy autumn, friends. In autumn, the seeds of fully grown sunflowers fall to the ground. A seed contains the tiny plant and the food the plant will need before it starts to grow. Can you see the little house sparrow? And it's eating some of the seeds, but look, so many are falling. And look, there's a ladybug.
1 second, Autumn. Let her finish.
The seeds are buried in the soil. The soil contains minerals, and minerals are special foods that help the plants grow. In the spring, the warm sun and rain make the seeds begin to grow, and this magic is called germination. How many of you have seen germinating seeds before? Yes, amazing. Henry, you and your sunflower sprouts, you're enjoying the deliciously germinated sunflower seeds. I love it. The tough seed coat splits, and then the first root grows out. It knows that it must grow down into the soil, and soon afterwards, a shoot will emerge, pushing the seed coat out of the soil. It knows it must grow up into the air. Isn't that amazing? The food stored inside, i.e. the sunflower seed, aren't those delicious too? This food stored inside helps the plant grow. Smaller roots begin to sprout from larger roots, and the roots collect minerals and water from the soil to feed the growing plant. A bud hidden between the leaves pushes away the split seed coat. So here you can see the roots growing down, sending all kinds of energy and minerals up into these leaves. And look, the seed is splitting open. Doesn't it kind of look like wings?
Yeah.
I think so too. It's totally a hat. The young sunflower grows taller and more leaves sprout. The leaves use air, water, and sunlight to make food. Isn't that amazing? Can we just talk for a minute? When I eat breakfast, I need generally, food in front of me, and I'm eating it off a plate with a spoon or maybe a fork. When I eat breakfast, I'm like eating things. This plant makes its own food out of the sunlight. Can you just close your eyes with me for a moment and just imagine the warmth of sun hitting your face and how good that it feels? And that literally is breakfast, lunch, and dinner for plants. Isn't that amazing? So the leaves use air, water, and sunlight to make food. Flower buds form and roots grow longer. The roots take in water from the soil and help to hold the sunflower steady. The flower bud grows at the top of the stem, and later it opens up into a large sunflower head. Each flower head is made of lots of tiny flowers packed together, and each tiny flower will become a seed. Insects are attracted to the flowers because flowers make nectar, sweet, and pollen as well. Insects drink nectar, and as they fly between the plants, they also carry sticky pollen to the plants from flower to flower. It is this pollen that makes plants produce new seeds in a process called pollination. Isn't that so beautiful? I love the geometry of sunflower seed heads. They kind of remind me of pineapples and also pine cones. Lots of spirals. The tiny seeds ripen. Birds peck the seeds in the flower heads. Some seeds are eaten. Some are blown away by the wind. Some are caught in animal fur and fall to the ground. Seeds can be carried far away from the mother plant. I'll interrupt myself to say, sometimes we put them in packets and then we send them all over the world. Tree seeds travel really far. Look at this bird just carrying away a seed. I wonder where it will land. In autumn, the sunflower withers. The plant will die. The seeds that have not eaten or carried away fall to the ground. These seeds will be ready to sow and grow next spring. Oh, isn't that amazing? Oh yes, here we are in fall, and just imagine all the seeds falling all around us. And how many of you have animals in your lives? Dogs, cats, maybe horses, or even cows? Raise your hands. Yes! How many of you have noticed that maybe on your animals, there are seeds, whether they're burdocks or other little seeds that cling to their fur. How many of you have noticed? Yeah. So yes, we are all, my mother likes to say, we're all part of the food chain.
That's right. And Petra, we're actually, our school, I don't know if you know this, but we are on a farm. And so we have, tell my friend Miss Petra, raise your hand, what kind of animals do we have on the farm, Autumn? What's one of them? We have horses. Louie, what else do we have?
We have cows.
We have cows. Hazel, what else do we have?
We have chicks.
We have baby chicks. Magnolia, what else do we have?
Peacocks.
We have peacocks. Aiden, what else do we have?
Pigs.
We have pigs.
Wow.
So we have all kinds. We have chickens that lay eggs, and then also some meat birds that will become our food. Our pig, yeah, we're raising all kinds of animals here. So we, yes, Louie.
And peacocks.
And peacocks, yes, the peacocks are growing.
Oh,
so
how cool.
We have, we're really trying to be self-sustainable where we can eat the food and grow our food and all kinds of stuff. So, for sure.
Aww.
Now, Miss Petra,
Well,
we have a few questions coming in from our friends at home. Can I ask you a few of those?
Totally.
Okay.
Please, I can't wait.
Let's see where we are. Okay. Gabe and Sophie, hi Gabe and Sophie, they want to know if there are any fall plants that you can grow in containers.
Ooh, absolutely. So the first one that leaps to my mind, of course, I just love cilantro. And cilantro loves to grow in containers. It also loves to grow in the fall. And here's the fun fact about cilantro. It actually thrives in the cold. Even though I grew up growing cilantro adjacent and sometimes in the shade of our tomato plants, because I can't imagine summer without salsa. And so grow tomatoes and cilantro all together. I never realized that cilantro actually loves to grow in the cold, and it doesn't bolt. It doesn't go to seed as quickly. So cilantro is perfect to grow. And honestly, it overwinters. Our seeds overwinter for us here, uncovered in our fields, here in Zone 5 in upstate New York. So they're definitely going to grow all winter long for you in Tennessee, which is awesome. Also spinach, whether it's classic spinach or Asian spinach, spinach is a perfect choice too. And mesclun mix is going to grow wonderfully. Also lettuces, but take a look. There are hot summer lettuces, and then there are cold spring, fall lettuces.
Okay.
So you want to be sure to plant varieties that, like winter density is the lettuce that we're sowing right now. So those are just a few things, and we have a whole blog about it as well, because there's a bunch of other things you can plant too.
Yeah,
like
I love
radishes
that.
are going to grow really easily in containers.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. So we have another friend, Mary, and I think this is a good question because I have a feeling I know what you're going to say. So Mary wants to know, hi Mary, wants to know when the best time to plant is. So that would be right depending on where you live. What is the best time to plant seeds and things to grow?
It so depends on where you are, but also what you want to grow. For example, if you want to grow a tomato, April on our farm in New York is the perfect time, the first week of April. But if you want to be growing spinach in the fall, kind of that first week of September through now is perfect. Spinach only grows in the warm temperatures, in the cool temperatures. So you have to, it might even be too warm in Tennessee for spinach to be germinating well right now.
Right.
So literally, there's always something, no matter when it is in the year, there's always something that would love to be sown right now.
Oh, that's good to know.
So it's a very case-by-case scenario.
I love that. Well, speaking of case by case, did you have a question, Indiana? Oh, well, speaking of case by case, I was kind of hoping, and my friends and I were kind of hoping, that I could take you, Miss Petra, outside to show you our garden and our greenhouse, and you can kind of see what we've already done, maybe give us some suggestions of what we could do. I think, my friend Brandon, are we good to go outside for just a little bit? Okay, so kiddos, I have an idea, and I have an idea, but listen, I want you guys, so Miss Petra can see your beds. I want you guys to follow me outside, and I want you to stand by the bed that you have planted. Just stand there, and I'm gonna bring Miss Petra around to show her your beds, okay? Alrighty, friends, let's go. We're gonna go this way. My friends at home can follow. Go stand by your bed that you have planted. You can go on out. You can go on out. Okay, go find your bed and stand by it. Miss Petra, we're going to show you what we've done so far. So, okay, go onto your bed. So we have a garden and we have 10 raised beds here. The kids, it's 2 per bed, 2 kids per bed. And really this year we've tried really hard to make it their own. So this becomes their personal bed. They get to plant, they get to water, weed, all the hard stuff and all the fun stuff. So some things that we have planted, Petra, you can see, we've done some lettuce and some Brussels sprouts. But if you just want to kind of walk around, go to your bed, buddy. We need to water. And just
Miss Rebecca,
see what we
you
have
are
here.
on mute.
We have done some compost in there as well.
Miss Rebecca, your gardens are beautiful and you're on mute.
Oh, I'm on mute. Can you hear me now, Petra?
Yes, perfect.
Yay. So what I was saying was we have 10 raised beds and we put 2 kids per bed. So we have a few extra that the teachers plant, but we've done some broccoli, some cauliflower. We've done some Brussels sprouts. Really, this is just a chance. Oh, hey, buddy, for the kids to make these beds their own and create something beautiful. So we haven't watered them yet today, but any tips you have to making these garden beds beautiful, we will gladly take.
Oh, well, first and foremost, I love soil tests. And if you haven't soil tested in the last year, it's definitely time. And that'd be an awesome thing to do with kids too. Have you soil tested recently?
We have not. So can you tell me a little bit about what we would do?
Oh, totally. Well, first and foremost, we have a whole blog that's like step by step how to do it. So that's awesome. But here's how you do it. Basically look up, and I'm not actually sure who your land grant university is in Tennessee, but you'll look up your land grant university and they'll have a part of their program, a whole soil testing scenario. So you can look up them and they'll have specific tips too of how they want you to do it and where to send the cup of soil. It generally costs about $20, but it basically looks like digging up a cup of soil and sending it to them. It's super simple. And then they're going to tell you not only the pH, but all kinds of things like micronutrients, macronutrients. And you also mention in the process, like what has been grown there in the past, what you're hoping to grow there in the future. And then they literally give you exquisite information about how to amend your soil so that your future needs can be met. Given your past history and present moment. So it's pretty amazing. I think of soil testing like snorkeling, where you can garden, you can hang out on the Great Barrier Reef on a pontoon boat with a margarita in your hand, but unless you actually go snorkeling and unless you get a soil test, there's just a lot going on underneath the surface that you just would never know.
Right. So you're suggesting our friends at home as well maybe do the same thing wherever they're at in their area to help really know what to grow and how to grow and things like that.
Totally. It makes so much difference.
I love that. So let's walk down here to our friends. We got some barefoot friends here. So this is their garden bed. Look how beautiful. All of this is Aubrey. What did you plant over here, sis? Let's see what this is. This is collard greens, and we have some cabbage.
Yes.
Do you guys like gardening?
Yeah.
It's a little hard work, but it's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah. So we have all down here, and then also, hey buddy, what you got down here?
We have
Is that some cauliflower right there and some Brussels sprouts? Man, Brussels sprouts are my favorite. You like gardening, Jaden? Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. So yeah, so this is our garden outside, and then we have our greenhouse, which right now is empty. We haven't started growing anything in there yet, so we would love any kind of advice from you as well, or if anyone at home has greenhouses, for gardens that needs any tips. I think I have some questions coming in as well, but if you want to follow me, my friends will stay out here, and you can follow me. My friends at home can follow me into our greenhouse.
Ooh.
Y'all can sit out here and work in the garden. And I'm going to take my friend Petra in here to talk about the greenhouse. So we have this great garden shed as well with all of our supplies in there. And then in here is our greenhouse.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're coming in to see it.
Oh, it's such a treat.
So this is it. It's a really big space. We can also make it rain when we want. So any suggestions of what we can start planting here would be awesome.
Ooh, so you've got concrete, so there's no soil on the ground. Is that accurate? Cool.
Yes, it is concrete.
Great. So you can grow lots of, I would think, like microgreens and other greens just in flats, or do lots of container gardens over the winter. And then looking at, even if you have like figs in big containers, a fig is going to love life in there. You basically have a dreamy microclimate. I mean, a greenhouse that doesn't have soil is mostly a propagation house. So in spring, you'll be able to grow tons and tons and tons of, starts of like transplants. But you can totally get some large containers and, grow, like rosemary is going to grow really well in there over the winter for you. And can you heat it, or are you going to let it be kind of ambient temperature throughout the winter?
Temperature in here as well, so we can heat it. Yes, we can control all that.
Wow. So yeah, you've got options. If you want to use that energy, you can create an entire conservatory in there, like bring in the cactus.
The sound of that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. Yeah, I mean the sky is the limit, but you want to be sure, especially if you have the heat on, you're going to be essentially overwintering diseases as well as insects that would otherwise die in the winter. So that's the main kind of liability drawback to spaces like that. You have generally you have a couple years, in my experience, a couple years of grace where you can just do whatever you want and everything's healthy and happy and gorgeous. And then all of a sudden, it's really hard to keep those spaces clean. And because they're moist and warm all the time, it's just a ripe environment for every fungi, bacteria on the planet. So, or managing them organically, it can be really challenging.
Okay.
So I kind of, as much as it's fun to like think the conservatory and just having it super warm, I would almost encourage you to think, all right, you've got this capacity to put the heat on, which will be awesome for the spring when you're starting your tomato and your transplant and your eggplant transplants. But otherwise for the winter, letting it cool down will be an amazing way of kind of organically managing diseases and insects. And then you can still grow in containers. You can still have your figs. They're going to be just fine, especially in Kentucky. You can have great big containers full of huge, happy collards and kale, cold hardy lettuces, mosh and claytonia, mesclun mix. So you can grow lots of the greens over the winter that are going to be growing, albeit slowly, but they don't necessarily need the supplemental heat. So you can have your cake and eat it too.
I love that. Isn't that our favorite? I love that. Okay, so right now I'm gonna let our friends water their garden beds and kind of weed out their stuff. Do you guys want to go grab some watering cans and water your garden bed? Yes, I'm going to show Miss Petra. They all want you to see their beds. So,
oh my gosh, I can't wait.
We're going to show her all the beds. I want to see all your hard work, and our friends at home, I'm sure, want to see it too. grab a watering can and let's fill them up. Petra, is this okay that you're going to help us kind of do our gardening chores this morning? Is that okay with you?
I love it. I love
Okay,
it.
good. So one thing we do tell the kids is to not pour a bunch of water on top of the plant, but to kind of get around the bottom. Is that correct?
Perfect. Anytime you can not put water right on the plant tissues, you're always doing the plant a favor.
Okay, good. And it's, yeah, y'all can share, okay? Okay, that's okay. We can take turns. We can take turns watering, okay? All right.
What's that little thing on your phone?
We can take turns watering. Do you want to go find your bed? Miss Petra, so what zone are you? I heard you talk about zones. You're in what zone?
We're in 5.
You're in 5. So I believe we're in Tennessee is in zone 7, maybe. Am I right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Can we get inside and have a little watering pot for me?
You can. My friend Autumn here found something in her garden bed that she hadn't planted. So she's hoping it'll grow. So we're going to put it in some water when we get inside.
Oh, how precious.
So what other zones are there? How many zones are there all over?
Ooh, good question. Well, zone 1 essentially is, the Arctic Circle. And then I forget, I think there might be 12, but honestly, I forget what the zone is. There might be 14. I'm honestly not sure what's at the equator, what zone that is.
Right. Yeah. That's a lot. So depending on where you live, everything can be different of planting, growing, all that stuff and weather-wise.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's amazing how unique and how different. And, there are plants growing on every continent, basically on every square inch of every continent, even if we can't see them, even under the water. And so plants are just these incredibly adaptable creatures. And we have a seed system right now that just is a one-size-fits-all seed system. And yet, there are oaks that grow where you are, where I am, in Alaska, in Arizona. And so I'm really excited for, Fruition is a very regionally adapted seed company. And
yes.
So I'm really excited for there to be more and more and more regionally adapted seed companies, as that diversity, that the centralization just doesn't honor diversity, and it's going to be,
right,
not as resilient as a result.
Yeah, and that's how I found you. Really, is I met you through. I was just looking for some seeds and organic and a good story behind it, and so that's how we found you. And so I love that. When I purchased some seeds for the school and noticed we were in a different zone, I reached out and I was like, "Oh no, we're in a different zone," and you were like, "No worries, this is what you do." So I love that you're able to really accommodate all of us, even if we don't live in New York. So we are going to, I don't know if some friends at home have any gardens that you guys want to send us pictures of, or a greenhouse or plants, whatever you like, send us pictures of. But we are going to work on watering. We're going to work on pulling some weeds. Do you hear our rooster in the background, Petra?
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Our rooster gets a little hurt when we're not talking about him, so he likes to talk a lot. But that's our rooster. So, yeah. So any kind of words of wisdom for anyone kind of just starting out with gardening that maybe has never done it before, or maybe like me that can't keep a plant alive? Like, what's good advice you want to give our friends?
Oh, well, yeah, I think you actually nailed it earlier, Rebecca, just reminding us all that we're all learning. Like, I'm still learning. I'll be learning for the rest of my life. And if I'm 80 years old and I tell you I figured everything out, just, push my rocking chair off the cliff, like I have even more to learn in those moments. So it's all just a journey. And keep in mind, there are really easy things to grow, and then there are really difficult things to grow. And so, I think of it as painting too, where you can, if you have fingers and you have paint, you can paint. You're a painter. Like, don't let anyone tell you you're not an artist.
I love that.
And yet, like, I could spend the rest of my life trying to become Monet and Rembrandt, and I just won't. And so, like, don't compare yourself to anyone else's paintings. Don't compare your garden to anyone else's garden, and just keep learning and living and plant what you love to eat. One of the biggest common mistakes that I see people make is, kale is so nutrient dense and a superfood. I should grow kale. Wait a minute. If you don't actually like to eat kale, don't grow kale. If you if all you want to eat is watermelon, just grow watermelon. If all you want to eat are hot peppers, grow hot peppers. There's no right, there's no wrong, but you are doing yourself a great disfavor if you're growing things that you don't love to eat, because it's a lot of work. And so you want to make sure that at the end of the day, and at the beginning of the day, you're totally motivated to get out there and to show up. And I know I'm only motivated really to do the things that I love. And so just make sure that love what you sow and sow what you love.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I had a garden bed, mine would be full of bell peppers. Everyone knows that. Like, I would just grow a bunch of bell peppers. But that is one thing that we really try to do, like I said earlier, is give the children a chance to make these beds their own. So we gave them options. Like, a lot of them just don't like broccoli, and that's okay. Some of them like Brussels sprouts. We got some really good taste buds here in this group. But so we definitely wanted them to be proud of what they're growing and what they're providing for their families, because at the end of it, they're going to be able to take it home to their families. And that's the beautiful thing about what we're doing here. And hopefully our friends at home are able to do the same as well. Grow for their families and provide some food. Yeah, it really is amazing. So before we say bye to our friends, Miss Petra, will you like to walk around and just kind of watch what we're doing? Our friends at home might have to go soon, but we kind of want to go ahead and get our chores underway. So let's see. Did you guys water already? Henry, have you watered your garden bed yet, buddy?
No, I didn't water it.
Oh, let's see. Which one's yours, bud? Which one is yours? Yours is over here?
Number 8.
Number 8. And what do you have in here, Henry and Isaiah?
I have broccoli and radishes and cabbage.
Oh. And so how did you plant these?
And
did you have to dig holes?
Yes.
Okay, but
I had to dig holes, I had to put compost, but I had to water them.
And watering them. It's very important for us to water our stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. What did we do? Do you remember what we did before we planted anything? What did we do with the soil? Did we have to what do we have? It up and work it really, really hard. That was kind of exhausting, wasn't it? We're teaching these kids sometimes the good stuff, just hard work. It's hard work. Sir, you want to show your garden bed? Oh, that was so nice of him to help you water your plants, CJ. That's okay. What do you have here? Let's see, you have some cabbage and some Brussels sprouts as well.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, Caleb, do you want us to come see your garden bed? Yeah. You want to show Miss Petra? Tell her what you got, buddy.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, let's look at our little sticks. So one of the great things about this is if we forget what we planted, we have little reminders here. This is cabbage.
Cabbage.
It is. Some more cabbage over there.
Cabbage.
And
how
some
far
colors.
away are your plants away from each other, my friend?
More.
Yeah, that might be more. And this is my other friend Caleb over here. So they put up in a bed together. Our 2 Calebs. Good job, Caleb. You love to garden? It's fun, isn't it? Can you see that my friend Miss Petra? And our friends at home?
Hi.
Tell us how you go garden.
Thanks for showing us your garden.
All right, bye my friends at
beautiful.
home. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to learn more about Petra and Fruition Seeds, go to her website, correct, Petra, fruitionseeds.com.
Yeah,
you guys have a lot to learn there. But thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to continue our tours outside. We're going to continue doing our work. All righty, Aiden, did you water your plants already? You got them? All right. You guys water your plants? Wasn't that an incredible day? Y'all, I had to go get my gardening hat because it is sunny outside. What a beautiful morning with my friend and guest teacher, Petra. Let's talk about a few things that she taught us. She taught us that seeds are more than just seeds. They are family. We've got to take care of them. We've got to grow what we love. It's a lot of work to garden, right? It's a lot of work. You're shoveling, you're digging, you're watering, you're weeding. So you want to grow things that you want to grow. And I love that we were able to bring her out here to our very own garden. Isn't technology amazing? She lives all the way in New York, but yet she was right here in Tennessee in our garden. She was able to see all the kids' hard work and what they've been working on and planting. She was able to go into our greenhouse and give us ideas on what we could plant and what we could do. And so I really loved having her here today. We got to do some of our afternoon chores and our morning chores this morning with her, watering and pulling some weeds. She gave great advice. You guys, if you want to learn more, if you want to learn about gardening, because remember, wherever you live, it may be different. We're in Tennessee, we're in zone 7. She was in New York. You may be somewhere in California or somewhere, okay? So look up where the area you live in to see what you should be planting, when you should be planting, and all that good stuff. I would love to see your gardens. So take pictures, take video, whether it's an outdoor garden, whether it's inside in potted plants. Please send pictures and videos our way so we can see what we're growing together as a class. Because remember, you guys are part of our class every day, and so we want to see what you're doing and learning with the kiddos here. So if you want to learn more, go to her website. I believe it's fruitionseeds.com. She has blogs, she does classes, she teaches all the things that you need to know to grow a beautiful garden, for your garden to thrive and be what you need it to be for your family. One of my favorite things is that what the kids grow, they get to take home and feed their family. So they are growing things that they love, that their family loves, and when they're ready to harvest, they go home for their families to eat. And isn't this what it's all about, is feeding our families, being self-sufficient with that. So we have had a wonderful day out here. If you are outside, remember your hat, remember some sunscreen. We always got to have protection for us as well as the plants, but remember, get out there, water, weed, love your plants. Some people even sing to them. I don't know how to sing, so I'm not going to, but some of my friends do. So sing them songs, help them grow, you guys. Thank you so much for being with us today. It's been a wonderful day out here. I hope you've learned something and have enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing all your pictures and comments on your gardens. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for our next special guest teacher. Y'all have a great day.
These are challenging times for children and for parents everywhere. Remember that school doesn't just have to be in a building with teachers and desks. School can and should happen everywhere. This program is made possible thanks to the generous support from the Dottie Frist Foundation, the Happy Davis Foundation, Hart Utilities, and viewers like you.